Is Gaza on the edge of more violence? A mistake in a hostage exchange ceasefire deal has sparked outrage, putting the fragile ceasefire at risk. In this front, it seems the negotiations might be annulled, further plunging the concerns for history not to be repeated. With a heartbreaking scene of the most youngest deceased hostages handover, this deal may just be another claim that bridges trust. This and many more will be explored tonight. Good evening and welcome. I am Tabitha Ako. Let's begin. Tonight, tensions between Israel and Hamas have once again reached a boiling point after a serious misstep in the ongoing hostage exchange. Hamas, which had agreed to release the remains of Israeli hostage Shiri Bibas, along with her two young sons, Kefir and Ariel, mistakenly handed over the body of an unidentified woman instead. This shocking turn of events has not only enraged Israeli officials but also sent shock waves through the delicate ceasefire process that has been in place for weeks. With emotions running high and trust between both sides further eroded, the fundamental question remains: can this ceasefire survive, or is it just a matter of time before violence erupts once again? Israeli forensic teams, upon receiving the bodies, quickly realized that one of them did not belong to Shiri Bibas. This error immediately raised suspicions in Israel, with many questioning whether Hamas made an honest mistake or if this was an intentional act of deception. Hamas officials quickly defended themselves, arguing that the chaotic conditions caused by Israeli airstrikes had led to mass graves, making it difficult to properly identify remains. Well, is this an excuse? Unfortunate mistakes can happen, especially when thousands of bodies of Israeli and Palestinians alike are buried under rubble, said Bassem Naim, a senior member of Hamas political bureau. He insisted that Hamas had no intention of violating the agreement and was committed to fulfilling its obligations. But on the other hand, Israeli leaders are not convinced. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, visibly angered by the situation, vowed that Israel would take determined action to ensure that all hostages, both the living and the dead, are brought back home. He accused Hamas of breaking its commitment and playing psychological games with grieving families. Take a look.
Today is a tragic day. It's a day of boundless sorrow, of indescribable pain. 4-year-old Ariel Bibas, his baby brother, 1-year-old Kfir, and 84-year-old Oded Lifshitz were brutally murdered by Hamas savages. Their bodies returned home to a nation in mourning. A nation that will never forget and never forgive the evil that cut down these beautiful souls. Since that black day on October 7th, when Hamas butchered and burned 1,200 of our families and friends, Israel waited with bated breath, hoping beyond hope that our hostages would survive the Hamas hell. Against all odds, we succeeded to bring many home. Some we rescued, some we tragically couldn't. The Bibas children in particular became the symbol of who we are and who we're fighting against. Here's a photo of the Bibas brothers. These perfect children again were 4 years old and less than 1 year old when the Hamas savages snatched them from their mother's arms. She fought like a lioness to protect her boys. Just imagine their horror. Imagine their confusion. perfect little children who never hurt a soul, a baby for the love of God. They languish in captivity until Hamas murdered them in cold blood. Who kidnaps a little boy and a baby and murders them? Monsters, that's who. These Hamas monsters also cynically refused to bring back the boy's mother, Shiri, and sent the body of a Gazan woman instead, in brazen violation of the agreement. Today, the heavens shake. The entire civilized world should condemn these horrific murders. The entire civilized world should join Israel in demanding the immediate release of all the hostages. All of Israel is united in grief. And as the Prime Minister of Israel, I vow that I will not rest until the savages who executed our hostages are brought to justice.
A heartbreaking statement right there. The misidentification of Bibu's body comes at a critical moment in negotiations, casting doubt on whether further hostage releases will proceed as planned. Is Hamas truly overwhelmed by the war's chaos, or is it manipulating the ceasefire to buy time and leverage? The ceasefire, which has brokered by the United States, Qatar and Egypt, has been hanging by a thread from the beginning. While it has temporarily halted fighting in Gaza, both sides have accused each other of failing to uphold their commitment. Hamas has accused Israel of blocking humanitarian aid, while Israel claims that Hamas is using the ceasefire to regroup and strengthen its military positions. Adding to the rising tensions, Hamas has now threatened to delay the release of additional hostages, citing Israel's alleged refusal to allow the entry of housing materials into Gaza. Israeli officials have denied these claims, calling them another example of Hamas tactics to extract more concessions. With 6 more Israeli hostages scheduled for release in exchange for 602 Palestinian prisoners, the latest plunder raises serious concerns about whether the process can continue. If Hamas cannot be trusted to return hostages correctly, what guarantees exist that future exchanges will go smoothly? Back in Israel, frustration is mounting among families of hostages who gathered in Tel Aviv, we could see it right there on the screen, to demand stronger action from the government. We are horrified and devastated, said a statement from the Hostages and Missing Families Forum, an organization representing the families of those still held in Gaza. The outrage is not just emotional, it is also political. Israel's security cabinet is now under immense pressure to reassess its approach. Calls for retaliation have grown louder, with many Israeli politicians urging Netanyahu to suspend the ceasefire and launch renewed military operations in Gaza. Well, will Netanyahu hold off on military action to keep negotiations alive, or will he bow to pressure from hardliners and order a new wave of attacks? The stakes are high. The second Intifada, a violent Palestinian uprising in the early 2000s, was marked by suicide bombings and intense Israeli military operations. Well, could recent events, including the explosions in Tel Aviv, signal a return to that dark chapter of history? As the crisis deepens, the role of the United States is becoming increasingly complicated. The Biden administration has been a key mediator in securing the ceasefire, but Washington now faces a dilemma. Should it pressure Israel to stay committed to diplomacy or allow Netanyahu the freedom to escalate militarily? While some officials in Washington believe that extending the ceasefire is crucial to securing the remaining hostages, others are beginning to question whether continued negotiations with Hamas are even worthwhile. And then there is the question of Trump's potential influence. Trump has previously suggested that Hamas should be dealt with more aggressively and has criticized past U.S. mediation efforts. If Trump were in office, would he already be seeing an Israeli military response? Despite the outrage, reports suggest that behind closed doors, Israeli negotiators are considering extending the 42-day ceasefire in hopes of securing further hostage releases. However, there is also talk of delaying negotiations on more complex issues such as the long-term future of Gaza and Hamas' political role. But time is running out. Each new incident further erodes trust, making it harder for either side to justify continued negotiations. If no clear progress is made in the coming days, the fragile truce could collapse, plunging the region back into full-scale war. Is this ceasefire still salvageable, or are we witnessing the countdown on another major conflict? The world is watching, and the next few days will be critical in determining whether diplomacy will prevail or if the guns will roar once again. Well, moving over to Arab tonight in a recent development with Trump's recommendation on taking over Gaza. Let's get to see the coming report. Just in as the dust settles over Gaza, Arab leaders are racing against time to craft a response to President Donald Trump's controversial proposal to seize control of Gaza, expel its Palestinian population, and transform it into what he has called a Middle Eastern referrer. On Friday, top Arab officials met in Riyadh to discuss an alternative plan that could counter Trump's ambitions. The meeting, which included Egypt, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and other Gulf nations, marks the first serious attempt by the region's leaders to formulate a unified response to the crisis. However, disagreements over Gaza's governance and reconstruction are threatening to weaken their stance. With millions of Palestinians displaced, Gaza's infrastructure devastated, and Israel supporting Trump's depopulation plan, the stakes could not be higher. But as Arab nations deliberate as time running out, will their divided approach play directly into Trump's hands? The Riyadh meeting comes 5 weeks after Trump first floated his idea for U.S. control of Gaza, originally announced by Egypt as an emergency summit. The fact that it took this long to happen underscores how divided Arab nations are over a response. Saudi state media downplayed the meeting, referring to it as a routine brotherly discussion and avoiding any direct mention of Trump's plan. This cautious approach raises serious questions about whether Arab leaders are truly united in their position, or if some are secretly considering collaboration. Reports suggest that Egypt has proposed a 10 to 20-year reconstruction plan for Gaza, funded by Gulf Arab states, which would exclude Hamas from governance while allowing Palestinians to remain in the territory. However, this plan has not gained full backing among Arab nations, many of whom disagree on who should govern Gaza post-war. This lack of consensus raises concerns that Arab leaders might be unable to challenge Trump's plan effectively. Meanwhile, Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouly has made a bold claim that his country could fully rebuild Gaza within 3 years, promising to restore the enclave to a better condition than before the war. Let's hear what international organizations are saying. International organizations strongly disagree. The World Bank, European Union, and the United Nations released a joint statement warning that even restoring basic services like healthcare, education, and rumble removal will take at least 3 years. A full reconstruction, they estimate, will require over a decade and cost more than $50 billion. Despite this, Egypt is moving forward aggressively, with government officials and real estate developers already positioning themselves for billion-dollar contracts tied to reconstruction efforts. Could Egypt's eagerness to profit from building Gaza weaken its ability to challenge Trump's plan? Well, the question on my mind. Trump's proposal has sparked outrage across the Arab world, but it is strongly backed by Israel. In fact, the Israeli Defense Ministry has already launched a directorate for the voluntary departure of Gaza residents, preparing for what critics describe as a new phase of forced displacement. For many, this plan evokes memories of the Nakba in 1948, when hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were expelled from their homeland. The question now is, can Arab leaders stop history from repeating itself? Or will Gaza's population be permanently removed? Trump, meanwhile, has said He has not yet reviewed the Egyptian proposal, a statement some see as deliberate stalling while he ensures that his own vision takes hold first. This delay raises concerns. If Arab states fail to act quickly, will Trump's strategy become a reality by default? While Arab leaders debate Gaza's future, the region remains on edge as Israel and Hamas attempt to navigate a fragile ceasefire agreement. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar confirmed that talks for a second phase of the truce, originally scheduled to begin 2 weeks ago, are now back on track. Meanwhile, the West Bank-based Palestinian Authority has declared itself ready to govern Gaza after the war, though Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has strongly rejected the idea. On the other hand, Hamas, for its part, has issued conflicting statements about its role post-war. Senior official Osama Hamdan recently declared that Hamas would decide for itself who governs Gaza, while spokesperson Hazem Kazim insisted the group is not clinging to power. Among Arab nations, the United Arab Emirates has also taken the boldest approach, expressing willingness to participate in Gaza's future governance. This feels like a debate. However, the UAE has firmly rejected Trump's displacement plan, insisting that Palestinians must decide their own fate. At the same time, Hamas has issued a dire warning to any nation that cooperates with Israel in post-war governance, vowing to treat them as occupiers. This raises serious risks for any Arab states considering involvement in Gaza's administration. Well, as the March 4th Arab League summit approaches, the next few weeks will be critical in shaping Gaza's future. But with Arab nations struggling to form a united front, the key question remains: can they stop Trump's referral plan before it's too late? Look at it. If Arab leaders fail to act decisively, Trump's vision may become an unavoidable reality. The clock is ticking and the world is watching. Moving straight into the Russia and Ukraine ceasefire, an issue that has been making rounds for a long time, as we keep bringing you updates on the report. The war in Ukraine has reached a critical point, not just on the battlefield, but also in diplomacy, as the US and Russia engage in negotiations over Ukraine's future. President Donald Trump's rhetoric has taken an unexpected turn, openly questioning Ukraine's leadership and downplaying its role in potential peace talks. Meanwhile, European allies crumble to reaffirm their support for Kyiv, fearing that Washington might be stepping back from its commitment. The U.S. approach to Ukraine now appears divided between two factions. On one side, Trump has repeatedly criticized Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, calling him a dictator, and claiming Ukraine for the war. He has even suggested that Zelensky's presence in negotiations is not necessary. On the other hand, Trump's own envoy to Ukraine, General Kellogg, has praised Zelensky as a courageous leader and reaffirmed U.S. commitment to working with Kyiv. Kellogg's visit to Ukraine, where he held extensive discussions with Zelensky's national security team, painted a picture of continued support, one that directly contradicts Trump's public statements. These conflicting messages raises critical questions. If Zelensky is left out of negotiations, can any peace deal truly be legitimate? Is Washington now more open to Russian demands, potentially at Ukraine's expense? Well, in a recent Fox interview, Trump downplayed Zelensky's role in diplomacy, stating, "I don't think he's very important to be in meetings." He added that he has had very good calls with Russian President Vladimir Putin, but not such good talks with Ukraine. Take a look.
In the works, we're negotiating with Russia, Ukraine, trying to get that horrible situation over with. It's terrible. It's just so terrible. I see pictures that you fortunately don't get to see. You don't want to see them. And that is a killing field. You have young soldiers being killed, thousands a week, and we got to get it over with. It's bad for Russia, and it's bad for Ukraine, and it's bad for us on a humanitarian basis. I've had very good talks with Putin, and I've had not such good talks with Ukraine. They don't have any cards, but they play it tough. But we're not going to let this continue. This war is terrible. It would have never happened if I were president, but it did happen, so I got stuck with it, and the whole world is stuck with it. And right now you have a country that has its cities, they look like demolition sites. Those beautiful towers, those 1,000-year-old golden domes that were so beautiful, the most beautiful in the world, they say, they're all in smithereens. Millions of people are killed, I think far more people than anyone understands. And we have people that better get to the table and get it ended. Should have never happened. It would have never happened.
President Trump there, such a good strategist. Well, Elon Musk, one of Trump's closest advisors in his ongoing government restructuring, has also taken a hard stance against Zelensky without presenting evidence. Musk accused the Ukrainian leader of running a corrupt system that profits from war. Despite the public rift, reports suggest that U.S. and Ukraine officials are quietly negotiating a deal over Ukraine's valuable mineral resources. Trump's administration is pushing for a trade agreement that would grant the U.S. priority access to Ukraine's vast reserves of rare earth mineral resources, crucial for modern technology, including electric vehicles and semiconductors. That's a bold move. Well, Zelensky has so far resisted signing a deal without security guarantees. But pressure is mounting. Some reports suggest that a U.S. offer was sent to Kyiv just days ago, and officials expect Ukraine to sign it in a very short time. Well, there's a lot of pressure on Ukraine, and we are just looking out forward on how he might suddenly get to sign or may not sign it. These are so many concerns running through the minds of a lot of people. Could Ukraine's natural resources become a bargaining chip in U.S.-Russia talks? Would Zelensky be forced to make economic concessions in exchange for continued U.S. support? Trump's rhetoric has sent shockwaves through Europe, with leaders rushing to reaffirm their commitment to Ukraine. French President Emmanuel Macron, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and Polish President Andrzej Duda have all publicly defended Zelensky and criticized Trump's stance. Macron, who is set to visit Washington next week, issued a strong statement. You can't be weak with Putin. Other European leaders have urged the U.S. to maintain its support, warning that a shift in Washington's position could jeopardize Ukraine's survival. Well, is Trump giving Putin the ego he needs to be able to carry out his strategy? Trump's comments on Ukraine come amid broader global tensions. His administration is redefining America's approach to diplomacy, emphasizing transactional relationships over traditional alliances. This shift could have major consequences not just for Ukraine, but for conflicts across the world. For instance, as Washington reshapes its stance on Ukraine, will similar strategies be applied to crises in Africa, such as the conflict in Sudan and the Cameroon Democratic Republic of Congo? Will Trump's hands-off approach to Ukraine signal a new era of U.S. foreign policy where economic deals take precedence over military alliances? Well, what comes next? While the war in Ukraine continues, a parallel battle is being fought in diplomacy. The future of Ukraine may now depend not just on military strength, but on whether its allies, especially the U.S., remain committed to its defense. The key question remains, could secret deals over Ukraine's natural resources dictate the terms of a peace settlement? As European allies reaffirm their commitment, will Washington stand firm or step back? As the situation unfolds, one thing is clear. Ukraine's faith is no longer just about battlefield victories. It is about whether it can remain at the negotiating table. Will Zelensky secure the support he needs, or is Kyiv being pushed out of its own war? Well, moving over to the home front, a lot of issues has been making the rounds. Tonight, a herdsman loses his life. During the week, we got a report from Undu of the savannah zone of a Fulani herdsman who unfortunately lost his life to an armed man. Initial reports had it that it was an alleged Ambazonian fight, but our information report says he is from ADF from Dongamatong. Apparently, he was killed after the ADF cartel had collected ransom from his family. The victim, Shuaibu Umaru, who resided in Zop village, got murdered despite every effort by his family to free him. A pathetic situation, that is. Shuaibu Umaru was kidnapped 3 weeks ago while grazing his cattle in Ntaba. His captors, led by a self-proclaimed Ambazonian general called Babagito, initially asked for a ransom of 5 million FCFA, but later accepted 1.5 million FCFA. Instead of releasing him, they killed him near Ntubwa on February 17, 2025. According to the deceased family, his killing is the third in case in the family since they began 8 years ago. Groups of Sopin Ambazonian fighters are known for violence in areas like Silong, Sop, Ntubwa, and Unwa, often getting help from local informants who feel compelled to collaborate with them for fear of losing their lives. Baba Geto, who used to work as a herdsman for Fulani cattle owners, has taken advantage of the war and turned to an armed bandit. Meanwhile, his illegal targeting of Fulani herdsmen has happened before on February 10, 2025. ADF fighters killed cattle after failing to disrupt the Youth Day event in Dongamatong. In a video which circulated online, at the time, a voice claiming to be from ADF Donga said, "We were coming after the Fulani, but they escaped. We have killed more than 15 of their cows." The voice accused the herdsmen of informing the colonial military, which led to their failure. Well, we have our commentator here for the first time on Flash News, Barrister Fro. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you, Tabitha. Nice meeting you for the first time.
Good to have you, sir. We've been telling a lot of stories over and over again with the La République du Cameroon killing or either neutralizing civilians. What do you have to say about that?
Well, La République du Cameroon has lost the war in Ambazonia, and now they are going after soft targets, and soft targets are civilians. They have been killing civilians. It's not today, because they no longer can kill a genuine Ambazonian fighter. That's the Ambazonian State Army, because the Ambazonian State Army is ready for La République du Cameroon anytime, anywhere. But the problem is La République is no longer willing to fight, and therefore they go after soft targets. Another thing that La République is doing is that it's using its proxy fighters in the name of ADF, and of course the so-called Atanganji boys, to kill our civilians, to kill our people, and then claim that they have been killed by the Ambazonian State Army. A case in point, the Fulani man you just talked about, he's killed by an ADF remnant, running away and trying to survive and killing his way around. He's not the only. There are lots and lots of bandits and disoriented ADF fighters that are all over Ambazonia. What it will take is the collaboration of all the forces of the Ambazonian State Army to save our people by eliminating these hoodlums. They call the ADF and the Tanganji boys. And of course, hungry Cameroon soldiers. There are three groups. Hungry Cameroon soldiers have transformed themselves to look like Ambazonian fighters and go after our population, looking for food. If they don't find food, they either kill you or they maim you. That is the state of the war as we speak.
So much, Barrister Fu. Thank you for that constructive statement and reaction. We'll be moving over to other reports. Colonial forces usually at the News Road Junction extortion point have survived improvised explosive devices planted against them by Ambazonian State Army yesterday, Friday, February 21st. According to them, by some luck, the explosive was discovered, deactivated, and lives were saved. A good one. We have received reports like this only to realize that it is all propaganda, with the colonial army to have the ability to identify ADF armies and neutralize them. Actually, this is what happened in the reports. According to the report, the La Republique du Cameroon forces of occupation have escaped an IED trap against them in Baminda, chief town of the Milan zone of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. This supposedly happened around New Road Junction at mile 2 in Quim, one of the extortion points. The colonial talks where the IED was planted. Though the Ambazonian State Army is yet to make any claims, it is alleged that they planted the explosive device. According to the claims, the explosive was discovered in the early hours of Friday, February 21st, as earlier stated. The process to deactivate the bomb started at 6 a.m. and lasted for hours, obstructing circulation. Could it just be a plot by the forces on ground in Yaoundé? The colonial army has suffered a lot of human and material casualties in Ambazonia from improvised devices, explosive devices, planted by the Ambazonian State Army during the ongoing war in Ambazonia. Barrister Fo, what do you think about this?
By the occupational force. Why only this one? I don't know what their modus operandi is. They are trying to draw some attention to the fact that bombs are being planted in Bamenda. Who can tell whether they are the ones who planted it? And then they come there to activate their propaganda to claim that is the Ambazonian State Army. I want to assure them that if the Ambazonian State Army plants any explosive device, La Republique always falls on them. That's not the first time they have been taken by surprise. The other time they took them on the way on the road to Mbengui. Our state army planted it, and they fell on it, and the disaster was palpable. While only New Road Quen. That is where they go and extort money from people. That is where La Republique soldiers go and extort money from people, and because they have been caught red-handed, they want to play a game. The Ambazonian State Army has not planted any bombs in the new road in Quen, because that new road belongs to the population, and the dense population of that area will not permit our Ambazonian State Army to be that reckless and plant a bomb where people can easily fall prey. Let La Republique think again. Okay, they have detonated it and saved themselves. Let's wait and see what happens next. Why Bamenda? We have never planted, the Ambazonian State Army has never planted bombs in places like New Road Quen, because the population, there's a dense population in that area. Nobody in his senses will go and plant a bomb in where there's a population, where people can easily be killed. No. The bombs are planted in targeted areas way out of town, or on the road going out of town, or in the rural areas where they are fighting. The Ambazonian State Army is not fighting in Quen. Why would they go and plant bombs in an area where the population is densely populated, where the place is densely populated. I think they should think again. That is a very disgraceful propaganda.
Thank you very much, Barrister, for a truthful one right there. Let's move over to the next report. In Mayo Center, located in the south region of neighboring La République du Cameroon, a protest broke out against what locals call foreigners or non-natives. This unrest began after the murder of a man outside a bar, followed by the discovery of another body just 2 days later. Refugees, especially southern Cameroonians, fleeing conflicts are in tough spots, having nowhere to go to amid the rising tensions. We have a video in that regard. Let's watch.
My 16, we don't decide. That Fako, where they said one Roman terrace, what see the people them? Where they come for the road, said we can Roman terrace. Me anyone be careful. Where do I come up for this country? Can't you can Roman terrace? For it's a Fako, you don't favor oh. Me and my respect yourself. Any motor I pass on the road, you put on down. Any civil.
Stand with Ambazonia. Empower ABC Amba TV. We are calling on Ambazonians around the world to unite and uplift ABC Amba TV, Ambazonian Broadcasting Corporation. In this critical time of war, ensuring the station's survival is more important than ever. But what does ABC Amba TV truly represent for Ambazonia?
At the heart of Ambazonia's war of independence, ABC Amba TV stands as a beacon. Years of recolonization, annexation, and French Cameroon's oppressive occupation of the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia have led to our exclusion. Our identity was hidden, our history distorted, our sovereignty denied. Queen of England is aware that the British Southern Cameroons were never a colony under France.
Since its inception in 2018, ABC Amba TV has been our lifeline.
Months of diplomacy have failed to resolve the crisis as fear grows over an imminent Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Our work in the dark is our chance to tell our stories to the world, to give voice to the voiceless and broadcast the truth of our struggle.
We are serious about executing this revolution.
It has become a vital arm of our government in wartime, making diplomacy achievable and showcasing our untold stories.
ABC Amba, you guys know how important ABC is for this, our quest for international recognition.
Your donations can make a world of difference. Every bit of support helps keep our stories alive, our presence known, and our fight in the global conversation.
The moment they notice that we are no longer on air, they think that, oh, maybe La République has succeeded. This is about Ambazonia. One thing we must always remember.
Where would we be without ABC Amba TV? Let's ensure we never have to find out.
A revolution is a temporary state of insanity to bring about sanity.
Mobilize, donate, stand with Ambazonia. Donate to ABC Amba TV.
Together, let's write the next chapter of our history.
It is better to light the candle than to curse the dark.
Support ABC Amba TV campaign. Ambazonia Independence, voice for the voiceless. Mobilize for change.
Well, I don't know what Ambazonians are looking for in Mayo Center in the South Province. It is bad enough being an IDP in Douala or Yaoundé, not to talk of going into a Beti village to settle just because you run away from a war zone in Ambazonia. It doesn't make sense to me. I am by this calling on all Ambazonians all over the southern province to relocate back to the southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. Because that is not a place for them to settle. Look, our refugees are doing quite well in Nigeria. They are doing quite well in other places like Ghana. But in La République du Cameroon, the primitive Francophones think that, oh, their problems are caused by Ambazonians, so any Ambazonian is a target. When this war just started, our people ran away to Yaoundé, and they were all arrested and put in a very large stadium under the sun by police and gendarmes, and asked to pay. Some paid almost up to 50,000 francs to be released. In the South Province, they discovered 2 bodies and immediately attribute them to Ambazonian people, citizens who live there. And all this nonsense is taking place when you have police and gendarmes. If you look at that video, you see police and gendarmes moving around. They are doing nothing to save the lives of people, because it concerns people who are not supposed to be in their midst. Have you heard, Tabitha, throughout this war, that in the southern Cameroons we have attacked any Francophone, any Beti man? The whole of Victoria is infested by Bassa people and Beti people, right up to Mutengene and Tiko. And of course, Bamilikis are everywhere, in Bamenda, in Kumba, and everywhere. Have you heard that anybody has attacked any of them? Why are they attacking only Ambazonians in that village in the South Province? Because we don't belong to Pado, we don't belong to them. They hate us to a passion. And if we don't understand that, we will have to pay the price. Our people should understand that nobody wants to see them in Francophone territory. So let them go back home. There is nothing we can do from this end to salvage the situation other than ask them to go back home. That is all we can do, Tabitha. There is no other solution. This is not the first time it's happening. The other time was in Ambam. The other time was in Ebolova. Their immediate target is Ambazonians, what they call Anglophones. So that is a story for another day. Thank you very much.
Barrister Fro, thank you so much for that explosive reaction. Thank you for coming on the live with us tonight. Well, coming to the climax of this report, let's take a look at the amateur video clips coming in from the Federal Capital Territory. As you can see, the Ambazonian State Army in Fako is actively patrolling and ensuring security. They are sending a warning. Please, technical, can we have the video on the screen? They are sending a warning to all those who are defaulting on and not respecting the laws of the land, such as observing ghost towns. It is often said that a word to the wise is sufficient. We sincerely hope that you do not become military targets by disregarding these laws. Please stay at home during Monday ghost towns, most especially. Well, this brings us to the end of tonight's Flash News. I invite you all to stay tuned for the mega town hall with the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako. Until next time, goodbye.
17, my 16, we don't decide. That Fako, where they said one Roman terrace, what see the people them? Where they come for the road, said one can Roman terrace. Me anyone be careful. Where do I come up for which country? Can't you walk Roman terrace? For it's a Fako, you don't favor oh. Me and my respect yourself. Any motor I pass on the road, you put on down. Any civilian will not respect himself or respect rules and regulations for Amba, will you put on down. Any man respect himself. Now boy, at this life, now my 17 do the catch all the camion them. We not confuse on our head. We not press on our head. But boss other tire them. We not boss that tire them. Look at some on the other side. Come on, Metro, come on, they shoot up for that side. Tomorrow, boss that tire. Boss them. Boss that one. Who go, now go, Metro. Dirty for rice.
We'll get them. Now we are fellow Ambazonians. And they talk for all people the way come up from Ambazonia, they didn't inside America now and they not get paper. The one that with the day for borders, for enter America, where they never enter. This message they come for now through the presidency for the government of Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. So I want to assure when I say, you can no worry, but something that they want to get for Sabia. And I say right now, as we talk, the government of America, they try for look through the thing the way the other government be doing. So shake no day. If you be say you there for inside America, where you be get your temporary protective status, or you know be don't get them, because it don't be extended to June. So let me say, if you dey here, you never apply for your temporary protected status, so you don't already enter for inside country. If you still apply, and one thing be say, you get for be very sure say they're not gonna move you as far as you come out for Ambazonia. But we will get problem with people the way they say they come out for Cameroon, and they come out, they lie say they be Ambazonians, and the day here they enjoy the temporary protected status. We will make sure say that mistake, they correct the American, this government correct that mistake. Now, if you dey for here, where you never get your temporary protected status, if it's still apply temporary protected status, or if you know say you will be qualified for even ask for asylum, you still get right for apply for asylum. They never stop granting asylum. If I say make your application be on file, and they will surely send you acknowledgement receipt. That acknowledgement receipt to go keep you, as a legal person for America, or you go straight for the temporary protected status, where it still be guaranteed up to June because they never cancel it. But if you did for that side for border where you never enter, and because they don't close the border, Mexico don't send soldier them for borders, America don't send soldier them. That means say they don't tell na same one remain for that side for Mexico till further notice. Just stay for the no worry. If you know say true, you be Ambazonian, and we know you for this government. No worry. If you did for that side, no worry. Just be for the die hard before they vote. People the way they feel pray, just continue for pray, because with the work on the ground, we'll be silent for media, but it not because with the work. We'll try to do everything for say make we protect our people. And we'll make sure say we be understood. We will make sure say we also work for make sure say by that June, where they go to extend this temporary protected status for our people, they not get for include people the way they come out for La Republic. Anywhere within La Republic, where they no come up from Southern Cameroon, where they no be Ambazonians. Because we know from the beginning, say this temporary protected status, this TPS, it will be primarily now for people them. The people them like as usual, Republicans, They don't jump, come here, talk all lie them. They claim the TOA be being our own. We will make sure say under this government, that one is stopped. That one will stop. Now, if you be say you be Amazonian, you find yourself for that kind of situation where you need help. You don't know what for do. You don't know what for how for go about what we get for do. My advice for you now say contact your local government chairman or your county chair or any executive where you see them for ABC all time where you know say this one now people then for this government. Contact the person so that it will help you forget your local government on your county chair. Now that county chair and the local government will contact we for instance for the presidency. They'll contact we for inside the presidency so that we will see what we will do. If nothing will fit help for now. But I want to assure all Amazonians in America and at home, say we there for the matter, for make sure say Amazonians, they don't suffer for any way where we get the power for doing. So me wanna just sit down quiet and continue for pray because for this window we'll get them. Now we are time for freedom. Now you don't reach so. So the message that was say make you pass this message across. If you get anybody where you there for that difficult situation, may you know what you for do now and make you know say with the work. Even people then way they be there for different program the way they be the wait. So when they be don't even buy tickets for different part of the world. Program they do they be there for bring people them for here. For America, but they don't stop them temporarily. Make una no worry. Any place una day, me una just tie heart because with the work, with the do what we will get for do for make sure say una no remain for that place una day. God bless you. Pass this message across until freedom comes. All right.